Welcome back, everybody, to the Gen Extra podcast. My name is Shamus McNasty. With me, as always, is Bacon. Another episode here. We're going to discuss The Last American Virgin, but we are going to take a look at the intro.
What you're about to experience is the Gen Extra podcast. With your host, Shamus McNasty and Uncle Bacon.
I love this movie.
You love, hate this movie.
Hate this movie. But we're not going to talk about this movie alone. We're going to talk about this movie with a special guest of ours.
We got a special guest?
We got a special guest today, and his name, I can't speak right tonight. His name is Joey Forearms. Joey, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, fellas?
What's going on, Joe?
How's sunny Florida down there?
Well, it's nighttime, but the sun's still out.
Is the sun still out right now?
No, I'm just kidding. Because it's Florida. It's always hot. No, it's actually raining and like 80 degrees.
It's raining this? Oh, nice. It's I think it got a high of 50 here today.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's balmy.
Felt good.
I was freezing. I'm cold. So Joe here is a longtime friend of mine. We know each other from way back in our DJ and videography days. Back with
that like early 2000s, mid 2000s.
Yeah,
2000s. We had a lot of good times together.
Yeah, I think we hired in where we were working pretty much at the same time.
Yeah, I think you were there before me. Maybe
a little bit though, like a 6 months, a year, or something like that.
Yeah. So Bacon never saw this movie until I showed it to him. You never saw this movie.
No, I never even heard of this movie until something. And then I watched the Bill and Ted podcast that you guys did. I think you may have talked about it then. Yeah. And Bacon did not look happy about even the prospect of seeing this movie.
I don't know, man. It's just one of those movies. Maybe if I had saw it in the 80s, when it came out, I might have felt a little different about it.
Well, then your whole life would have been traumatized like mine.
Yeah. I
mean, it was okay. I mean, I understand why he's been traumatized all these years. I can tell you that.
For sure. This movie should have been called Karen is an Asshole. Because what a terrible person. The guy who wrote this movie, he must have been traumatized himself because he does not paint the female lead very well at all in this film.
Well, this movie's based on a 1950s movie, right?
Yeah. Lemon Popsicle.
Yep. Yeah, and it was made. This movie, this whole line of movies, it was made to be like a series.
Yeah, and he was going to do a series of The Last American blank.
Whatever.
And I don't know, maybe he ran out of Sweet and Low or what, but yeah, that never actually happened.
Yeah. So I think originally this film, I think it was shot by like MGM, but I think the Cannon Group got a hold of it and actually distributed it.
Oh, because the lion in the beginning? Yeah. Maybe they were partnered up with Golden Globus.
For distribution. Yeah.
Distributor for all our favorite 80s movies.
Oh
my God!
Every ninja movie from the 80s was a Cannon film.
Oh ninja movies.
Films.
Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Oh yeah.
And Bacon's favorite, Masters of the Universe.
Hey, look, man. It was He-Man, bro. That was He-Man in the movie theaters. It wasn't a great movie.
No.
At all. But it was a He-Man movie. Come on, man. It was the 80s. What else you gonna get? What else we gonna get, man? That's the best we could get.
I think a He-Man cartoon movie would have been better.
We had that too.
Did we?
Yeah, but it introduced
Yeah, there was. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Sweet and Low, I snorted a bunch before the show, so yeah.
In case you folks haven't realized, there's going to be all types of spoilers about this movie. If you ain't seen it by now, sorry for you.
Yeah, well, luckily I only went like 10 minutes in.
Yeah, this is true.
What do you mean you only went 10 minutes in?
Well, that's when they start snorting the Sweet and Lows, like 10 minutes into the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's the best Colombian I've ever had.
Yeah, straight from Peru, man.
Straight from Peru. I was doing some hanging out in the 80s, and there were cliques, man. It was all about cliques. So look at Breakfast Club, right?
Yeah.
The way that Breakfast Club, those kids were all just thrown together. They don't belong together.
Mm-hmm.
These three girls did not belong together at all.
Right.
They are completely disparate. They would not be hanging out together. And why did they want cocaine so badly?
I don't know. That's a mystery.
That was the hot drug in the 80s, right?
It must have been. Boaz Davidson must have been like, because he's not from this country, he must have been like, well, you know, everybody wants cocaine in America,
Yeah,
so.
Nice Israeli accent there, Joe.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. I've been working on that all week long.
Oh, I figured.
And then when they were like, you guys want some more Coke? They're like, no, we're good. It's like,
yeah, but you notice the next scene, they're all like, the one girl's doing it again. The blonde is like back at it.
That's because in 1980, nobody said no to more cocaine.
Nobody says no to more cocaine now. What do you say?
Exactly.
No, I've had enough. I'm good. Thanks. I'm good with the Coke.
But yeah, so that's what I was going to say. The girl, the brunette with the one that looked like Jennifer Grey, her tongue.
The glasses girl.
No, not the glasses girl. The other
like
one.
Jennifer Grey. What's wrong with you?
Oh, the one, the most attractive of them.
If you want to put it that way, sure. You're the one alienating our female viewers, not me.
What two that we have?
Yeah. Out of our 16 followers.
No, so all I could think of was I like to think about the way that actors prepare themselves for roles, and like I'm thinking that she's talking to her agent like, look, I don't really want to do this nude scene and it makes me uncomfortable. And they're like, yeah, but you know, you got the tongue work down really, really well. Like, you just use that tongue work that you've been practicing. Because what the fuck was up with her tongue?
Yeah, that's the only thing people are going to remember is the tongue.
You pointed that out.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell was that? It's like, what are you doing? You're
it's
not.
Like the tongue came out 4 seconds before they were even going at it.
I know. And the guy that, you know, I give Steve Anton, who played Rick, all the credit in the world. He had to have known back then. He had to have realized that he was gay. And for him, that had to be disgusting on many, many levels.
Right.
Let alone somebody coming at you with a tongue that looked like a paintbrush.
Oh, Jesus.
I love it.
Oh my God, there's so much to unpack here.
Yeah.
There's so much to unpack. Like, this to me was like a John Hughes movie made by John Waters. Like, it was super gritty. It was trying to be one of those teen coming of age movies, but like it had this, I don't know, it just had this really like gritty, real feel to it. Like, I could look at a lot of those scenes and say to myself, this actually happened to me.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. There's a scene where Diane Franklin puts the lead in the friend zone. I think you and I discussed this before, but we've all been stuck in the friend zone.
Who hasn't been friend zone?
Yeah.
Well, the scene again, not to spoil anything, spoiler alert.
We can spoil.
This movie
the scene where they steal Big Dick Victor's GTO and they go to the point, and then Rose is like, yeah, I've never been to the point. Like, no girl has ever been that excited about going to make out with somebody. But that scene actually happened to me when I was like 17 years old. My friend was dating a girl that I was crazy in love with. I got stuck with her friend who hated me. I hated her. Subsequently, my friend and that girl broke up, and she and I got together, and I was like, yay. And then she stole my U2 tickets, and I never saw her again.
She stole your U2 tickets?
Yeah. Yeah. And this is 1987 U2, man. This is good stuff.
Oh, good U2.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite character was.
You dig deep into like.
I dig deep. You know me.
Yeah.
I analyze the shit out of movies, man. My favorite character in this whole film was Dave. I loved Dave like to death.
Oh, the
kid with the book.
The kid with the book.
Yeah, Dave.
Oh,
not Gary, not Rick, but Dave. You know, like when they get in the car and they're all half naked, and they're like, "Where's Dave?"
Yeah.
And Dave is in bed with Gary's mom.
Yeah. Dave, the guy that always keeps tabs on everything you owe him.
Right. But there's no payoff to that.
Yeah.
There's never a payoff to that.
Maybe there would have been if they would have continued with the movie franchise.
Yeah. Dave would have been in all the movies.
Yeah, the only original character in all other movies.
So did you read any of the, like, I read some of the trivia, and I was like, obviously, Diane Franklin, because she's been in Better Off Dead, and she was a small part in Bill and Ted, but
she was also in one of the Amityville horror movies for my.
Was she really? I did not know that.
Played a daughter in one of the movies.
But you look like if I was watching this movie in 1980 and going, who the hell are these people? Well, that was Boaz Davidson's whole thing was to use people that had never been seen before. And he was quoted as saying that they were virgin actors.
Yeah,
and that's what he wanted.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and they would all, I think for the most part, most of them are from like the New York area.
They sounded like it.
Yeah, I saw like an interview or podcast with Diane Franklin, and she said that she was in New York when she got the call to fly out to LA to do this movie, just like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And evidently this was her first film.
Yep.
And she had done like commercials and soap operas and stuff like that. So
she
struggled with the choice to do a nude scene.
Yeah.
And was like, well, since I have the emotional range of a cucumber, I might as well show my tits in this movie.
We're never going to have that woman on our show
podcast ever.
I'm sorry. I had to say it. I'm not saying she's a bad actor. She had, like, even when she was crying, she had, I was like, I don't buy it.
Yeah.
I don't buy it. I bought a lot of Gary's emotions,
Wait,
that's because you've been there. You felt that.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, other than the fact that Gary never shut his mouth, like he couldn't, like,
I know the whole movie's like,
just
mouth wide open,
slack-jawed Gary, like, hey Gary, how do you feel about this?
Pretty much sums it up.
At least the soundtrack was decent. I mean, they had some good 80s music in there.
That soundtrack, the soundtrack kicked ass. I loved it. When I heard Sex Girls, I was like, all right, this makes the movie all worth it.
Now, honestly, I had never heard of that song before this movie.
Oh yeah. No,
who is it? Do you know?
I'd have to Google it. I should have, but I didn't.
Yeah, I never even heard of it. The only reason I know about it is because of this movie. And surprisingly enough, this movie has 21 songs in it, yet they use the same like 3 songs several times throughout.
Yeah, at the weirdest spots too. Like when Gary and Rick are driving away in Big Dick Victor's car, I think they used like one of the slow songs at that point. I think like Journey or was it Open Arms or was it James Ingram? One of those songs was completely inappropriate for 2 guys driving away in a convertible hot rod.
Right.
Like, woman, I did my best. It's like,
I guess my best wasn't good.
This doesn't work at all. What are you doing?
Just one. That's when I found out.
And that's when I found out.
You literally wrote an essay.
Shut up.
Yeah, James, let's unpack what you wrote.
Man, I wrote.
He put his emotions on this paper.
I put a 3-page book report together for this because I was expecting to do this alone. So,
and look, I showed back up. You showed up.
Yeah.
When did you write this?
That was about 32 years ago. No, like last week, man.
Oh, did you?
Because I told Bacon here I was just gonna do this by myself because I know how much he disliked this movie.
Y'all act like
I can see you like in the office in the dark with just your laptop, just like crying. Like, God damn it!
Karen,
And your
damn it.
wife, like, are you all right, man? Like, what's
I
going
didn't
on?
hate it as much as you're letting on, but I don't know how soon it's going to get a second viewing. I know that.
I've watched it 4 times since the last
You've
time we
watched
watched it.
your whole life.
You lived it, James.
I
You
lived
lived
it.
this movie.
Felt it.
So how old were you when you saw this? You were 8?
So this came out in like 82. I
Yeah.
don't think I didn't go to the movies and see it. So I probably watched it when it came out on VHS. So probably like a year or 2 after. So
Wait, so this movie didn't go straight to VHS?
I didn't look into it. Maybe it did. I would imagine it went to the theater.
So you were 8 years old?
I was probably 8, 9.
That's crazy.
What irresponsible adult let you watch this film?
That would have been my father.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody
That was the babysitter, man. The TV and the VCR.
That was a lot
Yeah.
of our babysitters.
A lot of
coming up.
times I didn't see my dad an entire weekend.
When you were 8?
Yeah.
Oh my God. We're digging way into James' psyche tonight, man.
That's for a whole nother podcast.
We could do it now, man.
Let's do it now.
I got some tears stored up. I'm good.
We'll
Let's
dedicate
do it now, man.
we'll dedicate a whole podcast to what's wrong with James.
What's wrong with James?
What happened to Shamus?
I can't. That's insane. 8 years old.
Yep.
Dude, there were more tits in this movie than I think in Showgirls, which is saying a lot. And then oddly enough, the only woman who doesn't take her top off is the prostitute.
Well, the girl with the glasses never took her top off. I mean, she didn't.
She
take
got
her
real close though. Yeah, not for lack of trying. You know,
Yeah.
he picked up those.
Not for a lack of trying on Gary's part.
Yeah, Gary picked up those Fisker's scissors and was like,
I'm gonna get this off one way or another.
yeah, these cut through bone.
She didn't really care though. Remember?
She didn't. No, she didn't care. She didn't care about anything.
I don't care.
I just don't care.
I don't care whatever.
I just want more cocaine.
Just want this scene to be over. I did my best.
Here we go.
So, oh my God. All right. So let's talk about the dialogue for a minute.
Yeah.
Because
80s dialogue.
no, it wasn't just 80s dialogue. Like, so when Gary takes all the air out of Diane Franklin's, out of Karen's moped tire.
Yeah, there's a little psycho moment there.
I know, right? Little,
Mhm.
like he paid Dave an undisclosed sum of money, which was written down in that book, to get this girl's address. Like, how are you going to charge your friend number one for an address? Anyway, when he rolls up, he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And she's like, "I don't know." And he's like, you know, he doesn't even say, "Can I give you a ride?" And he's like, you know, "Where are you going?" She's like, "I'm going to be late for school." He's like, "What school do you go to?" Blah, blah, blah. I figure out they go to the same school. And he's like, "Oh, I'm going there too." And she's like, "Oh, can I go with you?" Or whatever it is she says. And he's like, "Yeah, be my guest." Like, be my guest? What are you talking about? Like, how about I can give you a lift? I can give you a ride. It's like nobody was saying to Boaz Davidson, like, "Hey, man, American children don't talk like this."
Yeah.
At all.
And then in this, like I can imagine the conversation. Okay, now in this next scene when you're driving, you're just gonna keep offering her food.
Yeah.
You want a big
How
meatball
about a big meatball sandwich? Like, and then he brings that back up later on. And I'm sorry, but Gary is a straight up alcoholic because he's drinking Jack Daniels right out of the bottle.
Yeah.
Dude, you don't do that unless you've got a problem.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there in the bathroom. He's like, "Hey, how about a nice meatball sandwich?" And she just looks at him with this, like, again, no emotions from Diane Franklin whatsoever.
Yeah.
Almost as if that she completely forgot about that conversation. Like, "Oh man, we shot that like 3 days ago. Why are you still talking about this?" You know, I didn't want to do this, but we got to talk about the locker room dick measuring scene. It was the most disturbing thing I've ever. Why were they so happy about it? And if Victor really had a 9.5-inch penis, why wasn't Victor more popular?
Yeah.
You know that Victor would have been like the most popular guy in that school.
Right.
For one reason or another. It would have been either like, hey, just let me see it, I'll give you $5, or like girls would have been like Karen would have been on Victor possibly.
Yeah. And like even in the 80s, I can't see that scene happening in real life.
I don't see that happening not in the way that it happened.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if everybody had like, okay, here's the measuring tape. I'm going to hand this to you so that you can measure your own. No, I'm going to sit on this bench and you're going to come up to me and put it at face level.
Nah.
And I'm going to measure it in front of my face. I don't know, maybe wherever is he from? Boaz Davidson from Israel?
I think it was Israel he's from,
Maybe there. I don't know. I cannot say.
Practice they do that. I don't know.
I've only been there once. Did not see any of that shenanigans going on.
Didn't see any dick measuring going on when you were in Israel?
I did not. No. I did see some wacky shit when I was there. I probably shouldn't talk about it.
Yeah. Not on the podcast.
Not in the podcast.
Not in the podcast.
You just got through talking about dick measuring on the podcast. you can't talk
Bacon's
about
like, how much worse can it get?
There.
We can't talk about Joe's trip to Israel? What?
But we what the hell?
No, it's worse. I guarantee you it's worse. Oh, so there's a little trivia about the guy who played Rick. So he's kind of like he's almost like Hollywood royalty. Like his sister is a founding member of the Pussycat Dolls.
No.
Yes.
Huh.
And I think his father was in the industry as well. And then like he, for a very short period of time, he dated David Geffen from Geffen Records. But then again, who didn't?
Womp womp.
I think I dated David Geffen briefly
in the 80s, but I did not enjoy it.
And all that sweet and low going around.
But yeah, I mean, he went on to do a lot of things. He had a stunt career. He directed Burlesque. So
never saw it.
No, you've never seen that movie? You owe it to yourself
not to see it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you made me watch this movie, so you should watch it.
Tit for tat.
When we talked about this after, you were like, I didn't hate it.
No, I didn't. No, I actually did not hate this movie. There was a point in time where I stopped writing notes because I kind of got wrapped up in it. You know what I mean? Like some of it was just like partly because it was ultra confusing at times. Like, why did he leave Carmela's apartment
to go get his buddies,
to go get his friends, and then he brings his friends back and he does nothing with Carmela? I'm sure because Paco shows up, but why didn't you go first? You were her little muchacho. Speaking of the woman who plays Carmela,
she was like old enough to be their grandmother at the time, wasn't she?
Potentially. But she was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Never saw it.
And she was an attorney in LA, in California. And she was disbarred for undisclosed reasons.
Maybe for being in a little raunchy movie in the 80s.
But yeah, she played the ditzy blonde a lot, evidently, which means, typically means the stupider you play, the smarter you have to be. Because you can't be an idiot and play stupid. You have to be super smart and play stupid.
So is that the rule?
That's the rule that I've seen, all the way back to Laurel and Hardy. Well, we didn't talk about Karen being pregnant. And that whole thing. That's the whole third act of the movie is Karen's pregnancy, her abortion, and then her betrayal of Gary. That's the
whole reason why you're traumatized by this movie.
That's got to be the whole reason that you're traumatized.
Yeah.
Unless you had an upstairs neighbor from Argentina who called you her little muchacho.
No, unfortunately, I didn't.
It was the fact that Gary loved her or wanted her unconditionally.
Yeah.
And was there for her through thick and thin. She leaned on him, used him,
gave him like a little glimpse of a future.
Yep. And then turned around and went back with his best friend anyway. Went back to the bad guy.
Yeah.
That's what traumatized
you. And all delivered even keeled throughout the entire thing. Like, I'm pregnant. You might as well have just told him that you had a hangnail, because it's seriously. I mean, I know I keep ragging on Diane Franklin, but I'm pregnant. Okay, yeah, you're not that upset about it, evidently. Maybe, I don't know, think about something bad that happened in your real life so that you can bring up some sort of an emotional reaction,
right?
So you can deliver on screen. It was like, oh, that's a one take. Okay, Boaz Davidson's like, all right, moving on.
Great, we don't need to do anything.
Can we talk about the fact that Gary brought a Christmas tree and a bag of oranges to the abortion clinic?
Well, it was Christmas time.
I get it.
Remember, they went on spring break.
No, I get it.
Yeah, or Christmas break.
But okay, I understand that. But here's the thing. Why bring them into the abortion clinic?
I don't know.
You could leave it in the car.
Yeah.
You could take it to your grandma's house and then go pick her up.
Set it up first.
So it's a nice surprise when she gets back to grandma's house.
Maybe he was in a hurry. I don't know.
Maybe he was thinking like,
I'll show her how much I love her with these fruits and trees.
Kind of like a whole hospital. She was a hospital thing. She was a outpatient, a patient.
Sure. I get it.
Flowers or something.
I get it. And he's just a teenage kid. He doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
Those oranges make a reappearance at breakfast the next day. And they deliver, again, a more emotional role
than Diane
Franklin. Like evidently the oranges had to be escorted off set because there was an argument between them and Diane Franklin. Yeah. It's in the IMDb trivia.
The oranges are trying to upstage me.
Yeah, it's in the IMDb trivia that I wrote yesterday.
Did you submit that to IMDb?
No, but I should. James, this movie, you had to send this to me in Dropbox because it's not available anywhere. Anywhere. Not YouTube, not the public library. This movie is completely out of print. How did you do you own this movie?
It's on your folders.
I don't. You got it for me, didn't you?
No.
I think I had you.
No.
I'm not sure how I got it. But I have it on a hard drive that I have like all my movies stored on, and it's in there. I don't know where I got it. All right, now that we've finished talking about how much Last American Virgin has traumatized me for the last 35 years, what else are we gonna work on coming up here?
Well, you never did rate this movie.
We didn't rate this movie.
Oh, that's right. We got to rate the movie.
I'll start because I already know what I'm going to give this movie. I'm going to give this movie 4 Lucky Charm 4-leaf clovers.
Out of 5?
Out of 5.
4?
Yeah. I like it. I've hated it for 35 years now.
All right. I ain't gonna hate on you for that. I myself am gonna probably only give it 2.5 slices of bacon.
2.5.
2.5. All right.
What's your?
I'm gonna give it 3 meth addicted flamingos wearing sunglasses. Because
got that graphic.
I'm gonna have to make it now.
Can you find that graphic?
Oh my Lord!
Because it was actually a watchable movie. I liked it. You know, I mean, at first, when I saw the kid loading up a pink station wagon, I was like, God damn it, James, what have you done to me? You know, I mean, the movie pulled me in. It did. I watched it again yesterday, and it pulled me in again yesterday.
Because it, like, a lot of it has happened to us.
That's part of it. I mean, part of it is that, you know, there is some chemistry in the movie. I think Gary has more chemistry with his mom's friend than anybody else in the movie. Like, we didn't talk about that scene, like when he's drunk and he's like, hey, Mrs. Nussbaum, or whatever her name was.
Yeah.
And there was some chemistry there. But I'll give it three meth addicted flamingos in sunglasses. Shouldn't be hard to find.
You're gonna be lucky to get flamingos
in sunglasses.
What are you talking about? It's the flamingos in sunglasses is the icon for the Florida State Lottery. It's not hard to find.
How would I know that?
Maybe you could put a cigarette in the flamingo's mouth.
I'll figure something out.
You don't have, so all you got to do is find a flamingo wearing sunglasses. The whole meth addict thing is just an understood.
Okay.
I want to know where you came up with this.
He pulled it out of his ass at the last minute.
Well, I've been living in Florida for 2 years.
I thought for sure he was gonna say something about forearms. I'll give it four
muscular forearms.
No,
for sure.
No.
He was gonna go with some forearm.
No. Well, here's the thing. All the flamingos down here are addicted to meth.
Okay.
How on the earth is that possible?
Okay.
I wish it was funny, but it's a serious problem.
I heard flamingos piss on themselves, piss on their own legs to stay cool or something like that.
Is that true, Joe?
Is that true?
Well, yeah. I mean, you can't help it when you're on meth. You just, it's a serious problem, you guys.
Meth addicted flamingos. Glad we ain't got that problem up here. So it is October.
It is. So it's Halloween month here.
Almost.
At the Gen Extra podcast. So we're gonna start
nowhere else, just here.
Nowhere else. Well, they're trying to cancel Halloween, so I mean,
yeah, that's true.
We're gonna do some horror movies,
starting with Hell Night, starring Linda Blair.
I'm excited.
I honestly haven't watched this movie in 30 years. Again,
I don't think I've ever seen this movie.
I only remember. The only reason why I want to watch it because I remember the poster to the movie.
Okay, are you gonna explain?
The poster is like it's like remember the old school posters where it was like it wasn't an actual picture, it was like drawn. Oh, it's like a drawn picture of Linda Blair in like this bustier dress thing, holding on to a gate, like trying to get out of this house or some shit like that.
Were you 9 at the time?
Probably.
Yeah.
Weekend alone by myself. My dad was out drinking.
I'm starting to see a theme arise here. So subscribe to the Gen Extra podcast if you want to hear more Spice Girls talk.
or useless shit you could care less about.
Subscribe and click that like button.
Click that like button.
Slap it up, flip it, rub it down.
Hit that bell so you'll get notifications on when we post the next shit show here.
And then hit the share button and send the link to 5 people that you dislike immensely.
That you absolutely loathe.
Welcome to the Shit Show podcast.
We talk about nothing all day long.
All right.
Cut it off after all that bullshit we were talking right there.
Yeah, I mean...
You're the one that has to edit this. You're the one that's continued to record.
All right, everybody. Good night.
With your host, Shamus McNasty and Uncle Bacon.